Yo, how's it going, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be looking at the top 5 non-legendary items you should be looking for in your Wonderlands playthroughs. Also, these items will be good even into endgame. I'll still use a lot of these at Chaos 20, so you really want to keep an eye out for them. Now, this list is going to be in no particular order, by the way, but I did just want to mention before we jump in, if you guys want to join up on the Discord, if you need to do any sort of trading or just talking about Wonderlands in general. Also, tonight on stream, I'm going to be giving away a couple copies of the game across different platforms, so make sure you guys tune in if you're interested in receiving the game. But let's go ahead and jump right into this top 5. So to start off, our list is actually going to be a weapon that you get first in your playthroughs anyways, and that is a weapon with a crossbow barrel. Now, this crossbow barrel is not weapon specific. It's literally just a part that can roll on a bunch of different weapons, and they're all basically going to do the exact same thing. The only thing you got to look out for is if you look at the special text of the weapons, it's going to say crossbow bolts deal increased damage for each bolt stuck in the enemy. You're going to want to make sure you're looking for the increased damage and not increased melee damage. Obviously, if you're doing melee, you can look for that one, but in your general gunplay, you're going to be looking for the increased damage versions. Like I was saying, this should be basically the very first weapon you ever pull in Wonderlands. When you open up that first chest, every single time I have gotten a white crossbow bolt pistol, and that thing can actually carry you for quite a while. So as long as you keep finding upgraded ones, you're going to be good to go. If you can't find any throughout the world, just make sure you check some vending machines. You'll pretty much always find one, at least within a couple tries. But what makes this so good is with a high fire rate version, because obviously we can get more crossbow bolts in an enemy, and that's going to in turn make us deal increased damage. Now, it's not 3% per every single crossbow bolt on all weapons. This number can change. I've seen it like 5 and also 8%, and they can also last different amounts of time. So you just want to be looking for ones that have high increased damage that lasts for a long time, and the gun itself has a high fire rate. Now, the second weapon you guys are going to want to keep an eye out for is the Cryo SMGs. In my opinion, this is the best weapon in the entire game. It does better than any legendary I've found, and you can also get this out of the second chest. This is another one where it was pretty much guaranteed anytime I opened that chest, this was going to be one of the weapons in there. And how you can tell it's the right weapon is it's going to be Cryo, and then either from Dahlia, Furior, or Hyperius. And then when you look at the damage, it'll say a damage number times 4 or times 5. It's gonna be one of those two options. That's how you're gonna know it's the right one. And pretty much what this weapon does is it's like a BL2 Sandhawk. It's gonna shoot in that like waving pattern of a lot of pellets, and it is just overall some of the highest damage in the entire game. Not to mention the fire rate is insane on some of these Dahlias. I've seen fire rates of over 20 with the right parts, which is ridiculous. And that's also while maintaining a pretty high base damage as well. I've actually yet to run a build that does not utilize this weapon, so this is 100% something you're going to want to be using at some point in Wonderland. Our third weapon that we're going to be keeping an eye out for is going to be the Furiors that roll with the part thrown weapon becomes a gun with wings and shoots enemies before homing in and exploding. This can come on any different type of weapon like shotgun, SMGs, and I also believe pistols it can roll on as well, but these things are incredibly powerful, and they also synergize very well with the different classes. Like, for example, Graveborn, it's going to count for the Faithful Thrall skill, which is incredibly powerful. And you can also give this thing the Buffmeister spell damage as well. So this thing can just go around and kill all the different enemies around you. Most of the time, it's going to be killing things that you don't even see yet. Now, I will say, if you guys are going to be using this gun with wings, make sure you are upgrading your SDUs. You're going to be burning a lot of ammo using this, because obviously you're just going to be shooting once and then throwing the weapon. So just make sure you keep up those SDUs. Moving on to our fourth piece of gear that we're going to want to be keeping an eye out for, and that is the Torg assault rifles. In this game, the stickies from them are incredibly powerful. Also, you can get them in like ×2 and ×3 versions, so you can apply a lot of stickies very quickly. And if you guys get lucky, you can roll high magazine size. This particular one does not. It's only at 16, but you can get them in like the 30s to 40s I've seen. And overall, you can deal so much damage. And even better is it can combine with the very first type of weapon that I described earlier in the video, and that's the crossbow bolt. So you can get the increased damage by sticking crossbow bolts to the enemies, and they're also going to be counting as stickies if you're in the sticky version of the Torg AR, and those are going to combine to deal so much damage. And then you can find these in pretty much any element, so it's going to synergize with whatever type of build you are running. In my most recent Graveborn playthrough, these things were carrying me in terms of boss damage. Now the final piece of gear that we're going to be looking for is, in my opinion, the best spell in the entire game. This is going to be a key component of the very first Wonderlands build that we're going to end up putting here on the channel, so make sure you're keeping an eye out for these because you're going to need them. And that is our Arc Torrents with the channel cast, and also calls down a lightning bolt. There's a bunch of different versions of the Arc Torrent, but you're going to want to make sure it says channel cast and calls down a lightning bolt. That makes it just absolutely amazing. And then if you guys take a peek here on this particular one that I have, it's a 6.7 second cooldown, and you have 4 charges. So even without any sort of spell cooldown, you can have essentially constant uptime on your spells. As long as you just keep channeling them to full and spamming them, you're always going to have an Arc Torrent charge to be using on an enemy. Not to mention, this hits probably harder than anything else I've seen in the game. I have seriously not seen anything that can come close to the damage output in a single hit, as opposed to this channel cast lightning bolt Arc Torrent. It does not have to be the purple variant. There are, I believe, even white versions of it, but I know for sure there's green and blues as well. So just keep an eye out throughout your vendors and all your different just random world drops, and I'm sure you guys will find one soon enough. But yeah, those are our top 5 items we should be looking for inside of Wonderlands that are non-legendaries. These will just carry you through so many levels. You really don't even need to get a new one until like between 5 and 10 levels ahead of where you found it, which is pretty darn crazy that they can carry that hard. And then, like I said, for a lot of these are key components of endgame builds as well, so they're always going to be viable. But best of luck to finding these different items. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up on it. It really helps me out. Also consider subscribing for more Wonderlands content. But anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya.